Some weapons have been made in the world of invention and creativity, but they have never been sold to the public. These mysterious and interesting inventions show how creative people can be, as well as the social questions that come up when thinking about how they could be used. In this video, we'll look at 10 such weapons that were made but were never released. We'll look at why they were never used and what interesting ideas they represent. Make sure to subscribe to our channel now and press the bell icon to get regular updates. Let's get started. Number 10. Nakajima Kikka. During World War II, the Japanese jet fighter Kikka, which was modeled after the German Me-262, did not arrive in time to engage in combat with American bombers. There were only about 20 Kikka planes manufactured in total, with only 2 of them being fully functional and able to fly. Even though it was smaller and did not have the same amount of power as the Me-262, the Kikka would have been an improvement over Japan's older piston-engine fighters that were being employed toward the conclusion of the conflict. If it had been deployed sooner, the Kikka could have had the capacity to inflict major damage on Allied aircraft and ships, which would have provided Japan with better combat capability. Number 9. YB-49 Flying Wing. This tailless bomber piqued the interest of aeronautical engineers due to the inherent benefits of such a layout and was designed to be the primary nuclear weapon delivery vehicle. There are, of course, drawbacks to every design, and in the case of the YB-49, the lack of computers to monitor and control the flight of the futuristic-looking bomber was a major factor in the United States Air Force's decision to go with the B-36 rather than the YB-49 as their heavy nuclear bomber. The YB-49 was an evolutionary leap from the YB-35, and the B-2 Spirit is the modern version of the flying wing design, now replete with all of the essential technology to make it work. Number 8. P-75 Eagle. During World War II, General Motors tried to make airplanes. They made an amazing fighter plane with a piston engine called the Eagle. Even though it had a top speed of 433 miles per hour, an unbeatable ability to climb, and 10 powerful 50-caliber machine guns, only 13 of the 2,500 planes ordered were made. This happened because things moved so quickly that the plane couldn't keep up. Even though the Eagle had features from other planes, its production was cut short by the efficient P-51 Mustang and the development of jet planes, which made it useless before mass production could even start. Number 7. Avro Arrow. The hypersonic interceptor was developed as a line of defense against Soviet bombers, armed with guided and unguided missiles, some of which were armed with nuclear bombs. This aircraft was planned and constructed in Canada, with the possibility of selling it in European markets in mind. However, the project was abruptly terminated, and the reasons for the termination were not sufficiently explained. This resulted in a great deal of speculation regarding the reasons behind the choice that was made. Even though it was capable of performing its duties, the Arrow was never put to the test because the threat posed by Soviet bombers was never ever realized. Therefore, even if it had been completed, the Arrow would not have accomplished what it set out to do. Number 6. Project Habakuk. In World War II, the British had the idea of using sawdust and ice to make a huge, unsinkable aircraft carrier that could be used against German U-boats. Such a ship might start as a natural iceberg that has been flattened and covered with picrete. It would then be hollowed out to make room for planes and workers. To fit heavy bombers, the ship had to be at least 2,000 feet long. Other standards, like being able to withstand torpedoes and any wave the ocean could throw at it, made development even harder and took more time. The sea monster would have engine pods on its sides, but designers never figured out how to move it. This project is not nearly as stupid as it sounds at first. If it had been ready before the war finished, it might have been made. Number 5. Panzer 8 Maus. During World War II, the Germans made the Maus, a huge tank. It was the biggest enclosed armored car ever made. It weighed more than 200 tons and was over 33 feet long, 12 feet tall, and 12 feet wide. The Maus had a powerful 128mm main gun, another 75mm gun, and a machine gun to protect it from enemy troops. It also had a strong 1,200 horsepower engine that only let it move at 8 miles per hour. Even though it had a lot of cool features, it could only go 40 miles off-road before it ran out of gas. The Maus weighed as much as 4 scary Tiger tanks and was too heavy to cross regular bridges. It's possible that this unique tank was made because Adolf Hitler liked big and flashy weapons. Number 4. U.S. United States CVA-58. In 1948, President Truman approved plans for a groundbreaking aircraft carrier, the first of 5 immense carriers. Unlike its predecessors, this ship was designed to carry 12 to 18 heavy bombers, a departure from the usual smaller bombers. Stretching over 1,000 feet in length and 190 feet in width, this colossal vessel would need a crew of over 5,000 to manage both the ship and its airplanes. Despite its promising start, the project was abruptly halted shortly after construction began, leading to the revolt of the admirals, uproar, and the resignation of the Navy Secretary. The ship's defense systems were intended to include 8 large 5-inch guns, 16 3-inch guns, and 20 automatic 20mm cannons. Ultimately, the U.S. Navy received 4 USF Forrestal-class carriers instead, notable for introducing angled flight decks. Number 3. MBT-70. Germany and the U.S. worked together in the 1960s to make the MBT-70, which was meant to be the main battle tank for both countries. This tank had a powerful 152mm gun that could also fire guided anti-tank missiles. The tank could also adapt to different terrains by lowering or raising itself thanks to its hydro-pneumatic suspension. But the project's growth took too long, and the cost kept going up. Even worse, the tank would have been out of date even before it was put into use. Because of this, both countries chose to scrap the project and build brand new tanks instead. Number 2. The Spruce Goose. Hughes A4 Hercules was the name of the enormous flying boat made of wood that was powered by 6 enormous jet engines. Only one was ever constructed, and it was only ever tested one time for a very limited distance. Howard Hughes counted the H4 among his favorite efforts throughout his career. It was constructed out of plywood rather than spruce, and it had the capacity to hold 750 soldiers. The plane's construction took significantly longer than anticipated, and the war ended before it could be put into service because of this delay. The undertaking was scrapped, and despite the fact that Howard Hughes had threatened to leave the country if it did not succeed, he did not do so. Instead, he maintained 300 employees working to maintain the fine condition of the large airplane. Number 1. XB-70 Valkyrie. The Soviets created the Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-25, aiming to build the swiftest bomber ever. But their main purpose was to use it for intercepting and shooting down other fast aircraft. This plane, designed to travel at an incredible speed of Mach 3 at high heights, was called the Valkyrie. However, even before the Valkyrie could take to the skies, advancements in Soviet anti-aircraft missiles rendered high-flying bombers largely ineffective, irrespective of how fast they could go. This shift in warfare strategy made Valkyrie's intended purpose less relevant. Notably, the legacy of this speed-focused approach can be seen in the retired Concorde SST MAX 2 airliner. That's all for today. Give this video a big thumbs up and follow us for more amazing updates. Thank you.